Okay, today I am covering the next section in chapter 1 called Atonement and Miracles. So, back at the beginning of chapter 1, when they're listing the 50 miracle principles, number 26 tells us that atoning means undoing. Okay, so when we're undoing fear, which is what the atonement is doing, that means we're undoing the ego. We're undoing the mistaken ideas of our mind, of our ego mind. All right, so first paragraph in that section says, I, meaning Jesus, am in charge of the process of atonement, which I undertook to begin. When you offer a miracle to any of my brothers, you do it to yourself and me. All right, what does that mean? So, our natural state is love and oneness. That is who and what we really are. And we have a mistaken idea that we are separate. That was the one mistake that our mind made, was believing we were separate. So Jesus, okay, in the Course, in this 3D illusory world, we created these separate bodies, these separate people, including Jesus. We can consider him some sort of separate person. A lot of people consider him sort of above them, something to aspire to be. But really, Jesus is just a representation within the oneness of Christ consciousness, all right? Because there's only one of us. There's only one mistaken ego mind and only one true joined mind, which is the child of God, the one child of God. So really, we are all one. So we are Jesus. And Jesus is of a frequency that we can call Christ consciousness. So that consciousness is within each and every one of us. So what the Course is teaching us is how to reach that Christ consciousness within us. All right. But because we think we're separate, we believe we're separate, and we kind of think with these very childlike, ego, fearful minds, this Course often speaks to us at that level. The level where we think we're separate, where we think that Jesus is separate from us, where we think that Jesus is better than us somehow, and that we need to bring this separate identity of a person, meaning Jesus, in to our lives, which if someone wants to think of it that way and it's helpful to them, that's fine. But sort of scientifically, mathematically, logically, what this Course is describing to us is that there's only one of us, therefore Jesus is us. We are Jesus. Jesus is simply a representation of Christ consciousness, which is the frequency of love. So Jesus, when he was that guy Jesus that lived here in a body on earth over 2,000 years ago, he figured this out. He learned through the course of that particular lifetime. I mean, really, it was many lifetimes before that he was building knowledge, just like us. Every lifetime that we live, we're never losing the knowledge that we're gaining. So don't worry, if you're going to come back another time or appear to come back another time in another lifetime, don't worry about it as far as like, oh no, am I going to have to learn this all over again? You're not going to lose that knowledge within your knowing mind, the mind that knows the truth. So even if you do live in another lifetime, you will rediscover all of these same teachings and principles, and the knowledge will stay with you. It will just, appear in different lifetimes as we're believing that we're different separate fractals as we're living out those lifetimes. The curriculum is different in each one, so these principles might appear, in a different form, or maybe it's still a Course in Miracles, but it comes to you in a different way. Who knows? Who cares? It's all pretend. It's all an illusory script that's already written. It's already played out. It's already done. It's already over. We're already all back in heaven at home with God, which is a state of mind where we know we're one with everything and everyone. That's what heaven is. So we're already still there. We just forgot. We just think that we're here in this illusory world. Okay, what else did I need to cover in that first paragraph? It says, my part in the atonement is the canceling out of all errors that you could not otherwise correct. meaning that when we think that we're these teeny tiny little small egos, we can give our forgiveness, meaning the atonement, the undoing, the knowing of truth, therefore the undoing of the lie, which is that we are separate. When we do that, we can just give it over to Jesus if you want to, okay? All right. This course uses many different names. It talks about Jesus. It talks about Holy Spirit. It talks about God. It talks about love. It talks about spirit. It uses a lot of different names that are just representing truth. You either know truth or you don't. Those are the only two things that can happen in A Course in Miracles. You either know that you're love or you don't. Okay, so all of these different words and levels and meanings and, so-called people or entities or whatever that we're referring to, it's all the same. It doesn't matter. These separate categories of definitions of what all these words mean and who all these people and entities are, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable, whatever brings you peace, is fine. Okay, they're literally, just think of them as like little puppets, little sock puppets for you to put on your hand and go like, okay, Jesus, you're the one who makes me feel good. And then other people are like, yeah, I'm not really into the Jesus thing. That kind of repels me. So, okay, Holy Spirit. Or if I don't like the holy part because it sounds too Christian, then just Spirit. Like I've said before, you can call it Bob. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's just a knowingness of love and of oneness. Okay. So that's why when we just give it over to Jesus, he'll just take care of it for us. And when we say he, it's really we, it's really us, it's our higher self, our higher consciousness that will take care of it for us, because our higher self knows the truth of who we are. So it says, I love this in this first paragraph in Atonement and Miracles. I love this. He says, listen to my voice, learn to undo error, and act to correct it. That's it. That's the whole prescription right there that the Course is telling us to do. Listen to my voice. Okay, so that's Jesus talking, saying, listen to my voice. It doesn't have to be Jesus. It can be Holy Spirit. It can be your higher self. It can be God. It doesn't matter what you want to call it, but it is the voice within your own mind that is your higher self, your God self, who knows who and what you really are. So that's the my voice that it's talking about, okay? So we want to listen to that voice, that higher voice within us. We want to learn to undo error and act to correct it. So that's what forgiveness is. When we take a moment to go, okay, wait a minute, I forgot. None of this is real. There's nobody out there. This is all coming from my mind's projecting it out. So let me remember that everyone here is innocent, an innocent child of God. And I forgive us all for what we've never really done. We haven't done anything. There's nothing here. We are all innocent. What's it say? The power to work miracles belongs to you. I will provide the opportunities to do them, but you must be ready and willing. Doing them will bring conviction in the ability, because conviction comes through accomplishment. Okay, again, lots of big fancy words. That means just keep practicing. Keep practicing. That's your conviction, is to keep being willing over and over and over again, to see things differently, to see things truthfully. Okay, paragraph 2. Separation is not real. All that really exists is love. Love is the same as God. Life is the same as love. Life and love are eternal. Okay, so first sentence of paragraph 2 says, heaven and earth shall pass away, means that they will not continue to exist as separate states. And later in the paragraph it says, life is eternal. Last sentence says, this is how a man must think of himself in his heart, because this is what he is. All these words, again, mean the same thing, that within ourselves, we have this higher consciousness, this Christ consciousness that knows the truth of who and what we really are. And when we know that truth within our hearts, okay, that is forgiveness. That is what causes atonement, which is the undoing of the ego, the undoing of the mistaken beliefs that we have. All right, paragraph 3 When you see yourself and others with your spiritual sight and know that we are all one and we are all love, that is a miracle. And that is the means of atonement, which equals the undoing of fear, the undoing of ego, or the undoing of belief in separation. They're all the same. They all mean the same thing. You're either knowing the truth or not knowing the truth. Allow your mind to become one with Christ consciousness. That is how Jesus helps us and guides us to the truth. All right. So that's the basic meaning of the third paragraph. All right. I'm not going to read anything from that paragraph. Paragraph 4. What did I write down? Paragraph 4. Jesus is telling us not to be concerned with the details of forgiveness. The when, the how, and the why. Just do it. And Jesus takes care of the undoing effects from there. All we have to do is forgive. Jesus sees the whole picture. Now, again, Jesus is Christ consciousness. It's a higher aspect of ourself. That higher aspect of ourself does see the whole picture. That's why Jesus sees the whole picture. It means the same thing. So remember, when we had that tiny mad idea where we thought that we separated from God in heaven, it was over in an instant and that we were right back at home with God in heaven. But what's happening in this illusion that we think we're in, this dream that we think we're having all the time, is we're playing out that moment that we thought we were separate. We're playing it out linearly over, trillions and I don't know how high we can count of how many years we've appeared to be here doing this. And it's not just we as humans, it's anything that has life force in it. Whether you feel more comfortable with Jesus, Holy Spirit, God, or any other name, okay? We want to hand it over to that higher power. We want to give it over and we want to just forgive. Forgive means seeing everyone and everything for what it really is, which is God, love, God, source, creation. So all we have to do is practice the miracle. The rest is taken care of for us. Now, what is this rest? Well, gosh, it's so much because we are all connected. Our minds are all one. So when we see others for who and what they really are, they are all receiving that message unconsciously because our minds are all connected. There's only one of us. And then all sorts of miracles happen in their lives too, because every time we're practicing forgiveness, we're collapsing time. We are ending certain lessons that from a higher perspective, our higher self thought we had to learn because we were still stuck in this mistaken belief. But the more we get out of the mistaken belief and we remember truth, the less we have to learn those lessons. And that's why time gets collapsed, because we no longer have to keep learning that lesson over and over and over again. So all those little tiny details of the miracles that happen in your life because of practicing forgiveness and the miracles that happen in other people's lives, it's none of our business. It's not our concern. It's not our department. Okay? That's Jesus's department. That's Holy Spirit's department. They'll take care of it for us. And they are us. They are higher aspects of ourselves. We just made them up to get us out of this silly dream that we think we're trapped in. All right, paragraph 5. First sentence says, error cannot really threaten truth, which can always withstand it. Only the error is actually vulnerable. All right, so it's telling us that truth is never vulnerable. Only the error, which is fear, which is ego, that's the only thing that's vulnerable. And why is it vulnerable? Because it's not real. That's why it's vulnerable. Okay, so then in paragraph 5, we have this lovely little prayer that is given to us. It says, Spirit is in a state of grace forever. Your reality is only spirit. Therefore, you are in a state of grace forever. That's so beautiful. And this is what the Course is teaching us, that we are spirit. That's all we are. And grace is just the allowing of the flow of love, the allowing of God's source creation. Allow yourself to be it. You already are it. You just covered it up with false beliefs. So grace is the allowing of the love to come through you, the allowing of yourself to be who you really are. So as we repeat beautiful prayers like this to ourselves over and over and over again, we start to remember who and what we really are. All right, it also says whenever you experience God's reassurances as threat, it is always because you are defending misplaced or misdirected loyalty. When you project this to others, you imprison them. Okay, so what that means is when we believe falsely that we are separate, we are defending the ego, and therefore we are imprisoning all of our brothers. All right, because we're having a wrong, mistaken belief of separation, of fear, of ego. And we are all the same. We are all connected. Our minds are all one. So when we think that other people are separate egos, we've imprisoned them and we've imprisoned ourselves because we're having the wrong perspective. We're having a perspective where we believe we are locked out of heaven, that we are separate. All right, paragraph 6 talks all about the golden rule, how we want to do unto others, the way we would have others do unto us. Okay, so what's it telling us about the golden rule? So first of all, the Course is never talking about form, about what to do in the world. It's always talking about content. So when it's talking about the golden rule, yes, of course, within our ego illusory world, we would like to behave towards others, with our ego personalities, the way that we would want other people to behave towards us. But this is actually not what the Course is referring to. It's referring to what we understand in our mind. So we want to feel one with God. We want to feel like we are love, right? So this is how we want to see others. We want to do unto those others by seeing them as pure spirit, as love, as God's source creation. And therefore, that's how we will see ourselves. And the more we see others that way, the more we are helping others to wake up, and others will be able to see us that way too. Although that's not in our control, it's not our concern, it's not our business. What other people think about me is none of my business. That's up to Jesus, up to God's source creation. Oh, sorry for all the noise. Here comes the gardening tools. Oh boy. All right, I'm moving this inside. Okay, you should be able to hear me much better now. All right, so I was talking about the golden rule in paragraph 6. Again, it's referring to content only, not form, not the way that we behave in ego bodies, but the way that we think in our mind, the way we see ourselves and the way we see others. So paragraph 7 is talking about how we are ready by being willing to see things differently. And it's talking about the impersonal nature of miracles. So let me see, what did I underline in this paragraph? Miracles arise from a mind that is made ready for them. Okay, that's us being willing, allowing for the higher perspective, for the truth to come through. So the interpersonal, I can do it. Impersonal. The impersonal nature of miracles is because the atonement itself is one, uniting all creations with its creator. All right, so we just have to allow. We have to allow this knowingness of who and what we really are to come through. All minds are joined. So when we do that, we start to understand who we are, and everyone else starts to understand who they are, even though we're not in charge of it, even though we're not consciously doing it, we are allowing. Our only job is to know truth. Our only job is to use our spiritual sight, to see ourselves and others as pure spirit, as God's source creation, as love. That's our only job. That's it. Everything else gets taken care of for us once we have that willingness to do that. All right, paragraph 8. What did I underline? That the miracle may have effects on your brothers that you may not recognize is not your concern. All right, well, this is a continuation of what I was just saying, that it's not our concern. We don't need to be bothered with all the tiny details. We just need to be willing and forgive. All right, and then paragraph 9, it's talking about a strong chain of atonement being welded. what did I write here? Even though we think we are forgiving separate incidences or people, really, when we practice forgiveness, we are forgiving everything and everyone. And the undoing occurs, that undoing of the ego, that undoing of these false beliefs occurs without us even realizing it. Again, we don't have to do anything. Jesus does it for us. So the last thing I wanted to read is what I underlined here in paragraph 9 at the very end. Sorry, I cannot see. However, this selectivity takes no account of the magnitude of the miracle itself, because the concept of size exists on a plane that is itself unreal. Okay, there's no order of difficulty in miracles. There's no order of difficulty in the world. There's no difference of size of problems. There's no difference of size of beliefs or misbeliefs. Okay, we either know the truth or we don't. We're either in love or in fear. We only have two choices. So this concept of size is not real. It's part of the illusion. It says, since the miracle aims at restoring the awareness of reality, it would not be useful if it were bound by laws that govern the error it aims to correct. So to me, it's funny. It's another way of telling us, like, you can't fix the problem within the ego illusory world. You can't do it there. You have to go outside of that and simply know truth, see spirit, see love, and then let the magic happen. That's what the miracle is letting that magic happen. It's seeing the truth, knowing the truth, and then by doing that, it causes the undoing. And that's our whole job. That's all we need to do, is just keep practicing, keep using our spiritual sight, keep remembering who and what we really are. And sometimes we don't have the strength to do that. Sometimes we're just tired, or, we're angry, or we're just fed up, or whatever the emotion is. It's okay. In that moment, just give it over. Just take your hands off the wheel. Come help me, Jesus. Come do it for me, Holy Spirit. Come help me, God. Whoever you want to talk to, it doesn't matter. You can just talk to your higher self if you want to. But it's all about exiting the false beliefs, exiting the dream world, exiting the illusion, and knowing truth. So hopefully you can remember at least once, if not many times today, that you are love.